opponents it took him half a second to beat, and the ones who shouldn't have been that easy to beat, he beat their ass. Name I'm talking about Rodan, fucking Anguirus, the Kaiser Ghidorah thing, whatever it's supposed to be. Hedorah should. Basically, that was just an insult to the fans. I mean, why go to the trouble of designing Hedorah, building an actual suit to only have it appear on film for a few fucking seconds? It was just retarded. Building on that, the monsters get some rampage scenes, which were fun. But the problem is, once again, that also felt a little short. For movies that are supposed to be about monsters destroying cities, there's not really a lot of that in this movie, kind of, technically speaking. And then I guess another big problem for me was the music. Don't get me wrong, the music is actually enjoyable in this movie. It's by a number of electronic composers. The problem is, to me, it doesn't really feel Godzilla-ish, and... Excuse me, I want a cup of water real quick. I mean, to me, this movie would have been so much more epic with an actual score, and yes, I'm going to say an actual score because this just did not feel like a Godzilla-like score at all. Coming off the badasses, the GMK and Tokyo SOS scores, this movie just didn't compare. I mean, the monsters needed they needed just better themes. I mean, shit. Monsters, and the sad thing is, monsters like Rodan don't even get a theme, which is so sad because all the times we've seen Rodan prior to this movie, he's always had classic themes. So not only does he not get it, he doesn't even get a replacement theme. So it's kind of whatever. It's just, that's a lot of things in the movie. They just hit and miss all over the place, but definitely more miss than hit. And the story, like I said, the story's all over the place. They cram too much into a movie that could have been longer, but technically speaking, if you don't want to make it longer, all I do is cut away from other shit that wasn't needed. Oh my god, and like I said, there's also a number of plot holes in the movie. Namely, like, example, near the end of the movie, we already knew for the longest time that aliens had replaced some of humanity's leaders, and that was to try, make a peaceful transition. But the problem is, the humans found out anyways, and it led to all-out war. That was an actual decent, plan. It was good writing right there. The problem is, later on, we actually learned that human leaders are still actually alive, and they're told they escaped. But how the fuck did they escape? We just see Akira Takarada just sitting there all of a sudden with a gun out. Like, wait, he escaped? How? How? And then Kumi Mizuno is there too. It's not explained at all how they escaped the aliens' jail cells or wherever the fuck they were. It doesn't make any sense. And then another thing, of course, another interesting plot hole. The monsters are controlled by M-Base. Well, but this way, this is the exact movie explanation. They changed or modified the monster's DNA to include M-Base. How? When? No one noticed this? Because the funny thing is, when the aliens finally do arrive on Earth, the Earth notices. So how did they not notice these ships going around changing the monster's DNA? Which is, of course, the process that's left off left out of the film. I mean, to me, Final Destroy All Monsters was way more epic. They had lots of human action, and it was done right, Human action that actually, gave, weight to the plot, like the humans shooting at aliens, the humans shooting at humans who are not controlled by aliens, which is, was sad because they actually had to kill people, their own people. And then, of course, the epic moon base scene, the humans arrive at the moon base, they finally find out how to end the monster control by, taking the monster, to control themselves, and then they control the monsters. That would have made a lot more sense, have been a lot more epic than the bullshit we see here, where it's just not explained how they control the monsters at all. There's so much disappointment. And the funny thing is, if you look at promotional material online, you see posters where they have, all the monsters of Final Wars all lined up together. The problem is we don't get that. The most we get is about 4 monsters at a time, and that was when Godzilla, Rodan, the Mount Fuji fight scene. But other than that, there's never anything more than 2 or 3 monsters in a single shot. which to me was very disappointing. I mean, you have fucking like triple the monster count of an average Godzilla movie, yet you don't have the time to fit all of them into an actual shot. Even the Godzilla and Gigan fight, I mean Godzilla, Gigan, and Monster X fight, like Mothra intervenes. We don't even see Godzilla and Mothra in the same shot together. Mothra briefly intervenes by knocking over Gigan and Monster X, and that's it. We see Godzilla roar in her direction. We at least assume it's her direction, but that was just poorly done. I mean, the way the film was shot, you would think the Monster X fight and the Gigan Mothra fight was happening on two different ends of the world.
I mean, putting this all as simply as I can, there's a lot of problems with the movie, and the main one that I will always go back to is the monster action just was not handled the way it should have been in a number of ways. It wasn't getting enough screen time. It didn't feel like it was the focus of the movie. Yeah, I mean, the movie felt like it was trying to be too much, and as many people have noticed, it tries to play a lot to what an American audience would like, and namely, you could tell that with addition of Don Fry, who to me was a very lackluster character in here. His acting just felt really bad. I mean, there's been a few American actors in Godzilla movies over the years. You know, we had Nick Adams in Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. We had Robert Scott in freaking Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, but Don Fry seems very, very wooden. I just don't like his performance at all, honestly. He had a few good lines, yes, but overall, just I would prefer to see someone else in the uniform. But I was going for my main point. The point is, there's so much play to the humans fighting and shootouts, and just too much of it. Every single second of that, when that crap is going on, could be more monster stuff going on, which is what we all really came to see. I mean, this felt like a final Godzilla tribute, but then crammed with a whole nother movie called The X-Men Meets Aliens, basically. I mean, it didn't feel like it was a film truly dedicated to what it's supposed to be, and that is Godzilla's 50th anniversary film, you know. So I think it was a big mistake on Toho's part to give the job of director to someone who namely had no Godzilla or frankly any kaiju film experience whatsoever. That the movie had been given to, you know, Masaki Tezuka, would have been a lot better if you given it to freaking Suzuki Kaneko of GMK. He has experience with Godzilla himself. He has experience with Gamera. You know, that would have been really great. And, or, you know, for hell's sake, even have Kazuki Amori. Or even have Tako Awara. Tako Awara was behind Godzilla 2000, which I didn't really like that much. But he did direct some of the best Godzilla movies ever, in my opinion, that being Godzilla vs. Destroyer and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the one of the 90s. So, you know, as I've heard himself, he's not too big of a fan of Godzilla himself. At least he knows how to direct a Godzilla movie in a very well-done way, especially when there's a good writer behind it. I mean, to me, Godzilla Final Wars is not so much a bad movie as so much more of a missed opportunity. And but last thing I probably want to comment on to wrap this up. And then, of course, we notice little things like special effects are mostly good, but they are kind of uneven. And to me, that's not yet another thing that could have been avoided if we had simply given the monsters their due. Because let's be honest here, no one asked for human kung fu scenes. They asked for monsters. And there's so much bullcrap that they try and add in the meantime that, of course, the budget had to suffer somewhere. I mean, the human fight scenes to me are okay. They're not, you know, the best thing ever made or put to film, so, you know, why bother? Why'd you bother putting them in there in the first place? But overall, I'd give Godzilla Final Wars what I've always given it. I would give it like, you know, roughly 6 or 7 out of 10. On IMDb, let's be fair, I gave it a 7 out of 10, but realistically speaking, if I could give it a proper decimal rating to describe how I feel about it, I definitely would give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Because I feel there was so much potential there. So much potential that just was not harnessed to its true, you know, it just not reached the true potential of what Godzilla Final Wars could have been. I mean, so much hype for a lot of disappointment. But there are some enjoyable things about the movie. And then we talk about the monster screen time that there is done well. Some of it, not all of it, though, mind you. Like I said, it seems like the Mount Fuji scene needed more actual fighting, not shenanigans. But yeah, as my rating of Godzilla Final Wars, yeah, I know this one inspires debate to this day, but that's how I feel about it. And I swear this will be the last time I talk trash on Final Wars for now.